Today we read from John chapter 11, verse 43 to 44. And it reads, When he had said this, Jesus called out in a loud voice, Lazarus, come out. The dead man came out, his hands and feet wrapped with strips of linen and a cloth around his face. Jesus said to them, Take off the grave clothes and let him go. Uh, Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead. Now, what is interesting is that Jesus waited until Lazarus had been dead for 4 days. And he says it here in this story that this is for his glory. Ever wondered why, when you read throughout the Bible, there's this element of God seeking glory, seeking to be glorified in what he does. The truth is, when God gets the glory, we, his children, become the beneficiaries. When God performs all these miracles, signs, and wonders, we get to see and learn of his power and his might. And once we learn of that, we are convinced that he is the one true God, and we follow him. And by following God, we then get our salvation. This is basic. However, sometimes things may be basic, but not basic at the same time. So I'm sharing this word to help us, those who may not have had this revelation before, to say, when you read throughout the Word of God, you often see that the stories tend to be, it's like only stories that are not necessarily only, but you see mostly stories that seem a bit extreme recorded. And it is for God to get the glory. Look at this case. Imagine had Jesus gone and and prevented Lazarus from dying. He had already performed miracles, so it would have been normal for him to do that. But he waited for a time where Lazarus' body was starting to rot, and he brought him back to life to show his power, to show his might. And that is, of course, now recorded in the Bible, and we get to understand God's power through it. That is the whole purpose of God's approach to this miracle, signs, and wonders that he has performed. And when you look at other stories like how he hardened Pharaoh's heart, he hardened Pharaoh's heart so that he could perform all those miracle, signs, and wonders, that we may know who he is. He didn't just want to perform just one miracle and then Pharaoh gives in and then he says that no. He needed to do that so that he gets all the glory. Of course, it gets deeper than that. There is also he needed to prove a point against the Egyptian gods and all those things. But God performs all these signs and wonders. He always wants situations to look impossible so that he shows us who he is, his power and might. So whenever you go through the Word of God, have this understanding in mind. You will see that with all that you go through, with all that you read, you will be able to make sense of him and understand his character. He even says, in 2 Corinthians 12:9, I think, as I paraphrase, he says, my power is made perfect in weakness. So it's at those moments of, where it is impossible, where it is obvious that no human being can resuscitate the situation or salvage the situation, or even say that God comes in, where our power or our abilities end. That's where God's power begins. So this story of Jesus raising Lazarus and waiting for the time when the body starts rotting to actually even do that, it is for him demonstrating to us that nothing is impossible for God. So whatever you're going through, know that God raises the dead. Nothing is impossible for him. Whenever a situation looks dead and buried, that's where his power begins. So stay encouraged and stay in the word. I just thought I'd come in here to give this word. I pray it blesses those who didn't have this revelation, and it serves as a reminder for those who have this understanding. May the good Lord bless you. May he keep you. May he bless those around you and those connected to you. Peace.